Hey Vortex. So I told myself that I had to shoot this video in order to like tell on myself, cause like I went and did stand-up comedy the other night, and I was on a roll, right? Well, whenever you're on a roll, that has to come to a screeching halt at some point or another, and that's what happened yesterday, cause I didn't make it to work. Instead, I just repeatedly touched myself. And people don't understand that that's a real problem. It's so weird because like literally like just a few days prior to that, I was thinking to myself, you know, I don't have to masturbate. I don't have to do that. You know, because anytime that I go like a long stretch without doing something, I always like mistakenly and very foolishly start getting really arrogant about it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. I don't need to do that. And in case you haven't noticed, you know, anytime that I talk about like marijuana as a negative, it just seems like that encourages me to like go right back to it. You know, like I think it's just like a self-sabotage thing. Because, you know, I wonder if I hadn't had that arrogant thought, I wonder if I would have made it to work. I wonder if I would have just controlled my sexual urges. And a lot of people would say, well, that's fine, that's safe. You know, you're not having sex with random people. You don't have a possibility of pregnancy. You don't have a possibility of an STD. You don't have, you know, any of these other concerns. So what are you so worried about? Don't be ashamed. Well, that's easy to say, but you know, most people, they don't miss work because they're having sex. You know? Like I think that's a very real issue. Like if that's what you're missing in order to do something lustful. Lustful. But I mean, I had gone like almost a month without like even being tempted to touch myself. Like, and it's weird because like I'll still have those thoughts sometimes, but I guess it's just a matter of like fucking with the knobs, you know. Am I gonna turn this one up? Am I gonna turn this one down? What am I gonna do? And I think a lot of people, they just don't know how to like turn down certain knobs, or they don't know how to turn them off completely. Well, when you're crazy, you really figure out the knob situation. I say crazy, but I just mean different. Technically, that's what crazy is. Like, anytime you say anything different, people are like, that's crazy. You know? So, it's very accurate. I was trying to load videos the other day, and I don't know if there's something wrong with my little device. There probably is something wrong with my little device. There usually is, right? Not that device. I know we were just talking about masturbation, so that would be easy to assume that that's the device that I was referring to. But no, you're just a dirty motherfucker. Get your head out of the gutter. Now, like, okay, an example of what I was just talking about was self-sabotage. So oftentimes when I do stand-up, I think, you know, I don't want to use swear words anymore. I want to self-censor just for fun, not because I'm worried. I'm not going to refuse to say the word faggot. I just don't want to use like just swear words. I mean, I don't want to use epithets either. I want to come up with my own epithets. That's why I came up with that really long ass acronym to describe social justice warriors. And that's one of those things that like I feel like the joke was so clever that like I have to keep it going, you know? I put too much time and effort into that joke in order for me to just fucking throw it away because I've already used it. You know what I'm talking about, right? The hwjpcpppcas. That's hokey wokey jokey PC policing pandering pansy candy asses. All the people on Twitter, all the people on Instagram, all the people on Twitter and Instagram, pretty much. I mean, I'm sure they're on Facebook too. You know, it seems like with these social networking sites, like people are like, oh yeah, I don't do that one, I just do this one. But it's like, people think like, oh, well, I just do one thing, so it's not as bad. Well, it's like if you obsess about that one thing, it's still as bad. You know, because people are always shit-talking something that they're not doing. Even if what they're doing is pretty similar to the stuff that they're shit-talking. You know? Like, I know so many people, they're like, yeah, Instagram's stupid. They're like, what? You're still taking pictures and making comments about them on Facebook. Like, I'd say out of all of them, Twitter's the best one. But that's just because, like, if you're an interesting person or a clever person or just funny and smart, it's like, yeah, Twitter, that would be such a great website. It just sucks that like so many liberals are on this website. It's like they have nothing else to do. It validates their shitty opinions. It validates their candy assery. It validates their stupid way of looking at everything, you know? Titania mcgrath is like really the only reason that I would check out that website, period, point blank. That and Culture's Twitter page, just because she's got a lot of links to, like, you know, articles that I wouldn't have read if I hadn't gone on her Twitter page. You know, that's what's cool about Twitter, is that, you know, you can put stuff up there that you care about. And I realize that that's the whole point of the website. But, it's just amusing how people think that, like, oh, I go on a social networking site and I retweeted somebody else's tweet about kids in cages. Like, I really care. See, people always bring that up. You know, whenever you say that you like Trump, they always bring that up. They think that that's like one hell of a slug against you. It's really not, though, because, like, if they don't know about sex trafficking, it's like you don't really care about kids. You don't know about all the kids being trafficked at the border. You don't know about all the kids that are being trafficked once they get into the country. So it's like, if you don't know about that, you probably shouldn't be talking about it. Like, you don't know why Trump separated those kids, and you don't know if they were actually their parents, you know? That's so much easier to assume that, so you can vilify Trump. No, I'm not saying that he's not an asshole, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm sure that that's true, that a lot of kids were separated from their parents. But it's like, well, the parents made that choice when they decided to sneak across the border, and they know that it's illegal, but they kind of figured that they could get away with it because, you know, all of their other friends and their family got away with it. You know, well, this is a president that's trying to put a stop to these things. So it's like, what the fuck do you expect? We're like, that's inhumane. Well, I mean, you keep allowing people to do whatever they want. They're going to do whatever they want. I mean, the whole reason why we have this mess with immigration is because neither party really did anything to address what was going on. Except for, you know, Obama, he deported a lot of illegals in his first term, and then he realized, fuck, I could use those brown people. They would like me more if I let them stay here. I mean, everything's like, everything's for votes. Other people know that. Like, that's the whole reason why the Civil Rights Act got signed. Like, it's not because, like, oh, the Democrats have a heart for blacks.
Do they really? That's totally why they started the Jim Crow laws. Like, now I don't think that the Democratic Party is like, oh, they're the same as they were then. I don't think the Republican Party is the same as they were then. People change. People change. But this idea that, like, ooh, this major flip-flopping occurred in the 60s. No, it didn't. It's just, that's when the left took over. The 60s were when the left took over, and so people think like, oh, they flipped on issues. No, they just made you think that they did because they took control of the university and the media and all that. So now, I'm sure there are very well-meaning, well-intentioned liberals that, you know, they believe in their bullshit policies because they actually think it's going to do some good, okay? I'm not talking about you when I bitch. But, because I used to be one of them, okay? So I have to keep that in mind. That, you know, maybe that's why I'm hard on people too. Is because, like, yeah, I just see myself. I see myself in these liberal lunatics. I see them. Because it really is like a mental illness. Like, Ann Coulter's been saying that. And they did a study recently. There's a study that said 38% of Marxists have a mental illness. Like, they've actually been diagnosed with, not that that means shit, but, you know, I think if they were diagnosed with a mental illness, if they've been to therapy enough times, or like somebody thought it was necessary for them to go see a psychiatrist, then, you know, I mean, if they're like prone to believing like whatever they're told, like, it makes perfect sense why they would be diagnosed with mental illness and probably prescribed a bunch of shit for it, and it makes sense why they believe what they do. But I think that, like, there's like a more humanitarian side to like a lot of these things. Like, a lot of people, they claim to be socialists because they want to help people. But it's like, if you try to tell them that, like, yeah, that's not going to help, it's going to make everybody starve to death. It's like they just can't accept it. But I'm actually excited for Bernie Sanders. I'm excited for the Democratic Party to just go down in flames. No, but really, feel the burn. Feel the burn. That's the Democratic Party and the incinerator, as well as the Constitution. I did my Constitution Inferno joke, and people laughed at it. People laughed at it that I know probably like Bernie Sanders, so that's good. That's good that I can write jokes about people that I don't agree with and make them funny to people that are on the complete opposite side that I'm on. Like, that is what's cool about politics right now, is that, like, if you talk about things in a certain way, people are really kind of oblivious to your actual beliefs, you know, because everybody gets offended by everything. So it's like, people just kind of want to make believe what they want to make believe. See, if I just went up there and bitched about the government, maybe if I didn't talk about like core issues, but if I bitched about the government in such a way, they would probably think I was talking about the Donald. But I'm not. I love the Donald. So I know that I said that I said that I didn't want to vote. God told me not to vote. I said that. That was a joke, by the way. God didn't actually say that. That was a J-O-K-E, you guys. I think that God would want the contrary, actually. Like, if the election mattered, he would want me to vote in it. And I think at this point, like, the election really does matter. Here we go. Traffic, you guys. Well, I'm glad that you texted Keon to let him know. Yeah. It's good I got my shell. That's really all I cared about. I was like, I gotta go to the gas station, get one of those White Owl packs. You know, I gotta do it. That was more important than anything else. But anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. Okay. I think you were talking about politics. Wait, was I? No way. But yeah, I actually enjoyed myself the other night. It was weird. Well, I went in with like a pretty positive attitude though, which was also weird. And I think that the vibe was like generally positive, you know, like, and that's the thing, like if you have negative energy, it won't go as well as you want it to, because you're going to be consumed with all of that. And I think that that's just the truth about, you know, everything, but especially with comedy, because like if there's that weirdness in the room, it's just like toxic. And then people are nervous, they're not as comfortable to like do jokes. And I guess I've been noticing that recently because of, you know, all the PC shit, but I mean, whatever. Just gotta say shit. People were agreeing with me though. Like when I went on my anti blah 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 blah. Yeah, fuck all that, right? Fuck all that blah 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 blah. When I went on my like anti-victim rant, it's like people just agreed with that shit. It was like, I know that there are people in the room that aren't fucking socialists. There are people that disagree with like all this leftist crappity crap. Crappity crap! I really got to get my teeth clean, you guys. It's getting to a point of shame. But anyway, I'm gonna end this video though because it's too long.